You guys are now live.
Okay, we will call the meeting to order. We respectfully acknowledge that the County of Haliburton is located on Treaty 20 Michi-Saugig territory and in the traditional territory of the Michi-Saugig and Chippewa Nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations. We acknowledge a shared presence of Indigenous nations throughout the area and recognize its original inhabitants as the stewards of its lands and waters since time immemorial. Could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda, please? Member Snyder, and I can't see everybody here. Seconder, I'm sorry if you could speak. I can't see everybody on my screen. I can only see Adam and Bob.
I'll second it. Bill Donald.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, be it resolved that November 12th, 2024 Land Division Committee agenda be hereby approved.
All in favor? That's carried. A mover. Oh, I'm sorry. Is there any declaration of conflict of interest today? Hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder to adopt the minutes of the October 15th meeting? Member Kennedy, seconded by, sorry, I can't see everybody.
I had member McKelvey.
Okay, member McKelvey, thank you.
Be it resolved that the minutes of the Land Division Committee meeting held October 15th, 2024 be approved as printed and circulated.
All in favor? That's carried. So we'll move forward with the first application.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll share screen and walk committee through the presentation. So application H4124 is for Clegg, and the municipal address is 8003 Buckhorn Road in Highlands East. And subject property is located at the Red Star here, just south of Gooderham. And on the right side, there's a map here. Just by introduction, there was a boundary adjustment that committee approved last year for a lot addition from the large rural parcel in the back to the Clegg property here that fronts on the old highway. And what we discovered through correspondence from Mr. Bishop, who was speaking with, assisting the Cleggs with this lot addition, was that the benefiting lot was created in 1990 through a consent. And as a result, the lot addition lands shown in red, which were contemplated through H2023, the properties cannot merge because the benefiting lot was created by consent in 1990. So this application is a relatively new tool in the planning toolbox introduced by the Planning Act that allows us to cancel the previous consent from 1990. Once that consent is canceled, the lot addition property from last year can then merge with the benefiting lot. Fairly straightforward application. There's no circulation requirements to neighbors or agencies. Highlands East has endorsed the application, no further comments from them, no public circulation, and county staff recommend approval, subject to the condition that's outlined in the staff report, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
Do any of the committee members have questions? Member Donald?
Adam, the cancellation of the original consent doesn't eliminate the existing Cleghorn property?
Through you, Madam Chair. So what will happen is that blue rectangle that you saw outlined, the previous consent application, so it doesn't make the lot lines disappear per se. It just removes the once a consent, always a consent law that the Planning Act has had for a long time. So Once that previous consent is broken, that lot addition property will then merge with the front. So what you saw on the previous screen, the blue and the red, will become the new lot. We just have to overcome that technicality under the Planning Act.
You're canceling it doesn't eliminate the lot though,
No,
under
no.
the plan. Okay.
no,
Thank you.
right, yep.
Any other questions? Is there anyone online who wishes to address the application? Hearing none, then could I have a mover and a seconder to receive and approve or grant provisional approval for the application? Member McKelvey, seconded by Member Kennedy. Thank you.
Be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton receive the report related to application for consent cancellation H4124, and that the Land Division Committee for the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent cancellation H4124, subject to the conditions of approval. Member Kennedy?
Yes.
Member Snyder?
Yes.
Member McKelvey?
Yes.
Member Donald?
Yes.
And Chair Danielson.
Yes. That's carried. So we'll move on to the next application, which I believe is Anderson, Schlatter, and Wenzel. Oh, for bell easements.
Okay, we have two applications here. H4224 is for the property at 1014 Delta, and H4324 is for 1016 Delta Drive. So this is these are for bell easements on two shoreline properties. And on the right here, the left map gives you context. So it's just northeast of Minden, on the south end of Minden Lake, just north of County Road 21. And on the right side, you can see the air photo. There are two dwellings, and that hydro line goes between these two properties, and then the bell line has been piggybacked and buried on that infrastructure. So this application, it has been surveyed. And so what this application will do is provide access to that buried infrastructure for repairs or maintenance as needed. We did not receive any comments from the public. Minden Hills has endorsed the application, and county staff recommend approval subject to the conditions in the staff report. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Are there any questions from committee members? Seeing none, is there anyone online who wishes to speak to or address the application?
Madam Chair, through you, perhaps to IT, Ron Nightingale is the agent for applicant on this, on these two applications.
And is Mr. Nightingale present?
Madam Chair, he has joined the panel. We'll just give him a minute maybe to get the volume working.
Good afternoon, Mr. Nightingale. Is there any comment that you wish to make on the applications?
No, I just joined in case there were questions.
Are there any questions for Mr. Nightingale? Hearing none, could I have a mover and a seconder to receive the report and grant provisional approval for applications 4224 and 4324? Member Donald, seconded by Member Snyder.
Be it resolved that the Land Division Committee for the County of Haliburton receive the report related to applications for consent H4224 and H4324, and that the Land Division Committee for the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H4224, subject to the conditions of approval as listed in the staff report, and that the committee, Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H4324, subject to the conditions of approval as listed in the staff report. Member Kennedy,
Yes.
Member Snyder,
Yes.
Member McKelvey,
Yes.
Member Donald,
Yes.
and Chair Danielson.
Yes. That's carried. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Nightingale. So next is application 6.3 by Carlton.
Okay, we have two applications before us. The first for H4424 Carlton is for a lot addition, and then H4524 is for a consent cancellation under the name Cesario, and I'll get into that a little bit later in the presentation. For context, the property is here, Red Star. It's just on the west side of the boundary between Minden Hills and Dysart, and it's on Wigamog Road, just south of County Road 21 in Minden Hills. And the subject lands that are granting the lot addition are in green. And this property is 1433 Wigamog Road, owned by the Carltons. And the red lot here is owned by Cesario, and that's 1459 Wigamog Road. And that would be the benefiting lands. So just to go through the lot addition first. So the property that's outlined in blue is the lot addition lands, and it's got 12 meters of frontage on Wigamog Road and just under 2 acres of land area. And as you can see from the arrow, this blue kind of hockey stick shaped piece will be added to part 1, which was actually created by consent back in 2022 by Land Division Committee. So as a result of the lot addition, part 1, the benefiting lot, will be increased from 197 feet of frontage to 236 feet of frontage. And the area will be increased from 2.5 acres to 4.5 acres. And the retained lot in red will be decreased in frontage from 370 feet to 331 feet. And the area will be decreased slightly from 28.8 acres to 26.8 acres. Property, the granting lot, the benefiting lot does have a house on it, and the entrances are existing, so no changes to that configuration. And similar to the last application, because part 1 was created by consent in 2022, we have to cancel that previous approval to allow this lot addition piece to add to the back part of this property. So what'll happen is when the deeds are registered, the lawyer will make sure that everything is done in sequence, and that this parcel will be able to merge with the benefiting lot next door. So Minden Hills Council endorsed the application. There was no comments received from the public, and staff recommend approval subject to the conditions that are in the staff report. And I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Are there any questions from the committee members? And is there anyone online who wishes to address the applications?
Madam Chair, we have one person, Mr. Cesario, who, if IT could bring him into panel. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Cesario.
Hi, how are you?
Did you wish to comment on the applications?
No, I was just here in case if there was any questions.
Okay, are there any questions for Mr. Cesario on the application? Hearing none, then could I have a mover and a seconder to receive the report and grant provisional approval for consent application 04424 and 04524? Members Kennedy and McKelvey, thank you.
Be it resolved that the Land Division Committee of the County of Haliburton receive the report related to applications for consent H4424 and application for consent cancellation H4524, and that the Committee of Adjustment, Land Division Committee for the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent H4424, subject to the conditions of approval, and that the Land Division Committee for the County of Haliburton grant provisional approval of application for consent cancellation H4524, subject to the conditions of approval. Member Kennedy,
Yes.
Member Snyder,
Yes.
Member McKelvey,
Yes.
Member Donald,
Yes.
and Chair Danielson.
Yes. That's carried. Thank you, Mr. Cesario.
Thank you. Thank you to everybody. And also Adam. Adam has been a great help throughout this whole process. I'd like to add.
Right on. Good to hear.
Thank you.
Adam, any other business that we need to discuss today?
I do have some bylaws going to county council coming up. That will be appointment of the new, appointment of the council members to Committee of Adjustment for next year. And also there was a bylaw that's going to reappoint me as secretary treasurer and then our director Purcell as the deputy, just because of the staffing changes. The December meeting, I have one application and possibly two more, just a few things I have to talk to the client about or the applicant about. Other than that, the December meeting looks like between 1 and 3 applications, and then the January meeting we'll do our usual appointments of members and chair and deputy chair. And I know Member Snyder is thrilled to looking forward to being the deputy chair again.
There you go. Any questions from members? So I see that our next meeting is scheduled for December the 9th. Is everyone okay for that date? Okay, sounds great. Then I guess there's no further business but to adjourn. Could I have a mover and a seconder to adjourn? Members Kennedy and Snyder, thank you.
Be it resolved that the November 12th, 2024 Land Division Committee meeting be hereby adjourned.
All in favor? That's carried. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Have a great afternoon. Bye all.
You too.
Thanks. Bye.